Frank Vega spends his entire childhood on a large farm with his parents. In school, he wins the state championship in rugby. The young man serves 7 years in the army, participating in combat in Vietnam, and returns home after a serious leg injury. He is shocked to learn that his beloved girlfriend married someone else and had 2 daughters with him. Frank wants to join the police force, but due to his injury, he is rejected. No one wants to hire a veteran, so he decides to sell hot dogs. This is how most of Vega's life goes until major fast food vendors lure away almost all his customers. Out of despair and hopelessness, the man starts drinking. While riding a bus, 2 thugs board and demand that an old man give up his seat. One of the passengers secretly records the scene on his phone. The old man slaps one of the thugs across the face. Surprised by the pensioner's audacity, the thug tries to hit him back. However, Frank stops his hand. The veteran doesn't intend to fight and offers the thugs to leave the passengers alone. They decide to teach the old man a lesson, but after a few powerful punches from Vega, both end up on the bus floor. The passenger uploads the video of the fight online, and the clip quickly goes viral. Frank becomes a local celebrity nicknamed Badass. People create graffiti and print t-shirts with his image. Cops patrol the streets with the veteran, and he is often invited to TV shows. 3 months pass. Frank's elderly mother, Juanita, dies, leaving him her house, jewelry, and her dog, Baxter. When Vega moves into his mother's house, the city's mayor, Williams, appears on TV, emphasizing the importance of fighting crime. Frank lets his best friend, Klondike Washington, stay with him for a while. One evening, as they drink beer, Klondike gives Frank a flash drive, asking him to hide it in a safe, claiming it contains important information. A tipsy Klondike heads to the store for cigarettes. On his way back, he is confronted by 2 thugs, Sebastian and Terrence, demanding something from him. Klondike fights them off with ease, but one of the thugs pulls out a gun and kills him. The news of his friend's death devastates Frank. With no family or close friends left, he asks the cops to find the culprits. That evening, Vega visits a nearby store for a bottle of alcohol. 3 robbers burst in and immediately regret not watching the viral video of the veteran on the bus. Neighbors complain that criminals in the area have become brazen and ask Vega for help. Near his house, a boy named Martin recognizes the badass from the bus. The teenager lives with his mother, Amber Lambs, and his abusive father, Martin Sr. Later. Officer Malark arrives and assures Frank that detectives are searching for his friend's killers. Frank realizes that due to the death of his friend, the police are unlikely to put much effort into solving the case. The veteran goes to the station to check on the investigation, only to find the detectives goofing off at work. He decides to take matters into his own hands. While investigating the crime scene, he finds a bullet casing and a pendant with a photo of a beautiful girl inside. Frank goes to a pawn shop. The seller tells him it's a 9mm casing from a Beretta. Such pistols are used in the U.S. Army. The pawn shop owner recognizes the woman in the photo as a friend of his wife's. He says her husband, Terrence, lives a couple of blocks away. Vega visits the couple's home and returns the pendant to the woman. She complains that her husband hasn't been home for a week. He was last seen at a nearby park playing basketball with friends. Frank heads to the court and asks the muscular players where to find Terrence. The guys mock the old man, but Vega beats up 3 of them. The rest quickly cool down and tell him to ask Ronaldo from 85th Street. Frank breaks into the guy's shabby apartment, where Ronaldo's roommate attacks him. The veteran threatens to beat him up, and the roommate confesses that Ronaldo often hangs out at a bar across town. Meanwhile, Mayor Williams meets with Mafia boss Panther in a secluded spot. The mayor complains that the gangsters messed up by losing the flash drive containing compromising information on him. If the information leaks, the mayor will surely lose the upcoming election in 3 months. Panther assures him that his men will resolve the issue soon. The mayor adds that it's time to deal with the badass who's been poking his nose everywhere. The thugs from the bus try to shoot Frank with an automatic rifle, but he manages to take cover behind a car. That evening, Vega sees his neighbors fighting again, and Martin Sr. once more raises his hand against his wife. The veteran helps Amber stop the bleeding and treats the boy to ice cream. When Frank arrives at the bar looking for Ronaldo, the thugs, as usual, attack him and, of course, get thoroughly beaten. The bar owner stops the fight and tells Frank that the guy he's looking for is upstairs. The cocky Ronaldo pulls out a knife, but soon finds himself hanging off the balcony, confessing that Terrence can be found at Tatiana's massage parlor. Officer Malark gives the veteran a ride and warns him that the police chief is keeping a close eye on him. looking for any excuse to issue an arrest warrant. At Frank's house, a huge thug is waiting for him, demanding the flash drive. However, Frank refuses and politely asks the big guy to leave through the window. Vega asks Martin to open the flash drive on his laptop. They discover that the mayor allowed Panther to evict many people from their homes to make way for a newly discovered oil field. Frank goes to Tatiana's massage parlor, but she claims she hasn't seen Terrence in a long time. The veteran decides to follow her. A neighbor of Tatiana, a big fan of the badass, tips Frank off that the back door to her house is unlocked. Inside, Frank finds Terrence, grabs the scoundrel, and forces his hand into the kitchen garbage disposal. When the guy's fingers are severed, he confesses that he and Sebastian killed Klondike on Panther's orders. Terrence adds that the gangsters will be at the Bergamot warehouse tomorrow. When Vega returns home, he hears screams from his neighbor's house again and sees that their front door has been broken down. Frank sits the aggressive man down and orders him to leave his wife alone. Amber invites her neighbor over for dinner. A delighted Frank transforms, putting on his best suit. Over dinner, Vega asks to keep a beautifully decorated matchbox as a souvenir, mentioning his love for keepsakes. He praises Amber's cooking. The pair drink and have a great conversation. They are about to kiss when Martin Jr. interrupts. Frank insists that the neighbors stay at his place until their front door is repaired. The next day, the veteran gives the flash drive to Officer Malark and leaves. That evening, Vega arrives at the Bergamot warehouse and orders the goons to bring Panther out. Frank attacks the mob boss, but is quickly overpowered and tied to a chair. The gangsters repeatedly torture him with electric shocks, trying to make him reveal where the flash drive is hidden. However, Vega, having endured torture in Vietnam, refuses to say a word. Panther takes Frank's ID and, seeing the expression on the veteran's face, realizes that someone is waiting for him at home. The mob boss heads to Frank's house to take hostages, instructing his men to keep torturing the old man. Frank frees his hands, lights a match, and throws it into a barrel of flammable material. Panther wounds the veteran's leg with a machete and flees. Despite the severe pain, Vega gets up and chases after the villain. Both hijack buses and engage in a classic chase. Along the way, they smash cars like toys, and Frank even manages to drive through a building. In the end, Frank tips his bus onto its side, sending Panther flying straight into the path of an oncoming train. The veteran continues the pursuit on foot. Two thugs from the beginning of the film block his path, complaining that the viral video has made them a laughingstock. They start recording a video of their revenge on the old man. However, Vega takes their gun, beats them up, and continues toward his house. Panther reaches the house first and demands that Amber hand over the flash drive. At that moment, Frank arrives. The two men engage in a fight that spills out onto the street. The gangster strikes Frank's injured leg, causing him to fall. Amber jumps onto the villain's back, giving Vega enough time to get up. Frank remembers his fallen comrade and brutally beats Panther. When the compromising information from the flash drive is made public, the police arrest Panther and the corrupt Mayor Williams. Vega receives a bravery award. Frank and Amber begin dating. How do you like the movie Badass? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.